Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Victor Owolabi. I know it's been a while. I've been away due to some logistics, and I say welcome back again. So if you're new to this channel, I would like you to subscribe to this channel, and share with your friends. And if you're a returning subscriber, I say welcome. All right, today I'll be talking about building maths formula calculator using arithmetic operators and functions in JavaScript. All right, let's start with JavaScript. Okay, so what's JavaScript? It's a programming language that gives functionalities to web pages or websites that you might come across. Okay, and let's just move on to the operators we're going to be considering. Basically, we're considering the first few operators here, but I'll just go through the first 7. And the first one is the plus, which is addition. The minus operator is for subtraction. The asterisk is for multiplication. The double asterisk is for exponentiation. For example, if I say 2 double asterisk 3, it means 2 raised to the power 3, and the answer will be 8. The next one is the division. So if I say 6 divided by 2, the answer will be 3. The next is the modulus, which we use the percentage symbol for. And the modulus is always used to give us the remainder after dividing. For example, if I say 5 percentage 2, the answer will be 1, because when you divide 5 by 2, we have 1 as the remainder. And also we have the double slash, which is for floor division. This gives us the quotient. So for example, if I say 5 double slash 2, the answer will be 2, okay, as a quotient. Okay, let's move on. We're going to talk about the keywords we might come across in JavaScript. And the first keyword we'll be considering is the function. And the function is used to initiate a function, and then you give it a name. Give your function a name. All right, and the next one is the next JavaScript keyword is return, and that is to return the result of your function, to give us the result of the computation of your function. And the next 3 JavaScript keywords, the let, var, and const, are always used to initiate a variable. For example, I can say let x equals to 2, var y equals to 7, like that. So, and then the last 2, they are conditional statements. For initiating conditional statements, we might not even use that. Yeah. So if a statement is true, take this action, else take this other action. Whenever it's not true, all right. And yeah. So when we're creating a function, this is how you use a keyword. Use the keyword function, JavaScript keyword function. Give your function a name. It can be volume of cuboid, area of triangle, and then the parameters for that formula or that function. So in the case of area of a triangle, I can say b, h as my parameters. Then return. What do you want that function to return will be written in front of this return keyword. All right, and how do you call a function? You write the name of the function, the name you're giving to your function. You write it here, and also you now assign values to your parameters. For example, if I have here as area of triangle in a bracket b, h, here to be area of triangle open bracket, the value of the b and the value of the h, so it can be 6, 2, b, h respectively, like that. So you just assign values when you're calling the function. All right, and so these are examples. We have the addition function. Then the name of my function is add. The parameters are x and y. Then I'm returning the summation of x and y. If I call this one subtract and I didn't change this, it will still perform addition of these 2 parameters or 2 variables. It's just a change of name, and the name is not even suitable in that case. If I'm using subtraction and I'm calling this plus, it's not going to be ideal. So it has to be a name that is in line with what you're trying to compute. Okay, so we have the subtraction. Okay, we have main like that. This is for multiplication, and this is for exponentiation. Okay, all right, so this means x raised to the power y. Okay, so I used exp for the name of the function. This is for volume of a cuboid. So function. I used multiply and decided to use volume of keyboard as the name of this function instead of multiply. And the three parameters we have in the volume of keyboard, we have the length, breadth, and the height. So, and we're going to return this. This function is going to return this result. This L multiplied by B times H. Okay. And the next concept, which I'll explain, is the JavaScript object. And JavaScript object is very useful and handy when you're trying to, return multiple values or multiple results. So a JavaScript object is a key value pair. Example, using the keyword var, which I mentioned earlier on, it's to initiate a variable. So my variable name here is contact. So I'm trying to return my contact details. So, and open your curly braces. The first key here is name and the value is Victor. The second key here is phone and this is the value of that phone number. And then the third key is email and this is the value for that email. I'll close the bracket. Okay. And so here now in my JavaScript object, I have 3 keys and yet 3 values respectively. So it's 3 key values. You can have multiple, you can have more than this. Okay. So now how do we implement these concepts? Now going on to Google Chrome. So if you don't have Google Chrome, you can download that. Once you download it, open a new tab like this. Okay. And head over to these 3 vertical dots. Click on more tools and then go down to developer tools. Alright, so here we might have it this way on your tab. Just a minute, you can have it this way. You can drag it and drag it upward. The same thing goes here. You can increase this as well. Alright, so from here you go to, if you have your tab on elements, go to sources, and then on sources you change this to from file system. It might be on file system before. You click on this double arrow and then go to snippets. Okay. Alright, so on snippets you can create a new snippet and then give it a name. Let's say formula.js, any name, but end it with .js because it's a JS file, it's a JavaScript file. So alright, so give this enter. Just like when you save documents in your Microsoft Word, it ends with .doc. So here it's always ending with .js for JavaScript file. So now starting with our function, as I mentioned earlier on, the function is to initiate a function. It's a JavaScript keyword. So function, so what's the name of my function? Let's call it add, just simple addition. And now what are the parameters? I want to add x and y, so give it a comma between them. Open your curly braces, enter, and then in between the curly braces I want it to return. So return is another keyword, space. What I want this function add to return, I want it to return the sum of x and y. Open your curly braces like this, then scroll down. Now on my console, you must have this tab on console. So I want it to console to log the result. So console.log, and the function I want to use is add. What are the parameters I want to add? The value. So let us assign values to x and y. So the first value for x, let's say it's 2, and the value for y is 3. Put your semicolon, give it a save. When you save it, this asterisk will vanish. So give it a save, and then click on Control Enter, or you click here. The answer is 5. Okay. You can do this for 10. Give it a save again for this asterisk to vanish, and then click on Control Enter. We have 13. Alright, now let us go to the next one. We can use subtraction. So you just give it a suitable name based on what you are doing. So subtract x and y. If I don't change this to subtract here, it will still give me the answer in addition. Okay, so let us change this to subtraction, and then just click on enter. It will autofill it for you. Give it a save. The reason why, if you don't change this, the function add is still in the cache, in the memory, so it's still going to recall that function. So here now subtract, give it a save, and then Control Enter. Yeah, good. 2 things I didn't do. I only changed one. I didn't change this symbol. So this should be a subtraction. My bad. Sorry. So the operation is still function as addition, even though I've changed the name. It's just a matter of changing name. It doesn't affect what I'm returning. So those are very important. Those are the 2 things I meant to change. the name to suit in the name and then the operator. So let's 10 minus 3, you can see the answer is 7. What else? Let's talk about exponentiation, that is raised to power. So let me just call it exp. You can give it any name you like. So I'm just using exp, x raised to power y. So x raised to power y will be x asterisk, double asterisk, and y. And then this name must change also to exp. So what is 10 raised to power 3? Give it a save. And that's going to be 1000. Okay, as we have here. Alright, so I think that's it. 2 raised to power 3, if you save it, 2 raised to power 3, and then control enter. The answer is 8. Alright, let's go on to the next one. Let's try the volume of cuboid. Remember, the volume of cuboid is L times B times H, which is length times breadth times height. So L, the first parameter, B second one, comma H. And then what do you want us to return? The multiple of these three, because that's the volume of a cuboid. L star B star H. And then must change this name as well. Once I start with the name, you can just click on enter, it autofills. So I want it to be, the length to be 2, the breadth to be 3, and let's say the height is 5. Give it a save. When you multiply this, the answer should be 30. Okay, can you see? Alright, now the next one I want to explain is the quadratic formula. The limitation about this is that when I'm about to do it, it will be only useful when the discriminant, this b squared minus 4ac, that is the b squared minus 4ac, whenever it is greater than 0 or equals to 0. Whenever the discriminant b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, the formula will not be applicable. You will not be able to get an answer. And also sometimes you might get higher multiples instead of getting fractions. So those are just the limitation, but I'm still going to just explain this. So let's go ahead and see how it works. So let's create a new snippet. Let's call it quadratic formula.js. Give it a save. Alright, so function. So what name do I want to give my function? Let's call it quadratic equation. Let's call it solver. Okay. So now what are the parameters I want to consider? The parameters I will be dealing with here, let me drag this here, are a, b, c. Okay, whenever your equation is of this form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, your a, b, and c are the parameters, and that's what will give us the value of x. So when you plug in the value of b here, and then b squared. So I'm going to start with the discriminant, what we have inside this bracket only. Okay, and before I do that, there's one more thing I want to explain. Let me just create a new snippet. I'm not going to save this, just leave it as snippet 23 as I have it here. maths.sqrt. This and that maths JavaScript function is a standard function for finding square root. So if I put 36 here and semicolon, and I save it, and then control enter, the answer is 6. This is the square root of 36. If I say 49, give it a save, and enter, 7. So I'm going to use this idea here for the quadratic formula. Let's go back to quadratic formula. So look at the quadratic formula, we have it as the square root of b squared minus 4ac. So here now I will start with maths.sqrt. What am I looking for? The square root. I'm looking for the square root of b squared. I can write b star b, or just say b star 2 exponentiation. Okay, b raised to power 2 minus 4 times a times c. Okay, now before that square root of b squared, square root of b squared minus 4, we have a plus or minus. So I'm going to separate the answers. I will do the plus separately and I will do the minus separately. Now before this plus, we have a minus b. So here I'm going to have I'm going to wrap this whole answer, the whole of math.square root, okay, in a bracket, because this follows the precedence of board mass or paired mass. Okay, so here I'm going to put the minus b. I want to do the plus first, so I'm going to do the plus. Alright, and the whole of this has to be wrapped. Okay, it must be wrapped in a bracket. So, and I observed a little correction I have to make here. So let's just, so the whole of this numerator, okay, have to be divided by the denominator, and the denominator here is what? 2a. So that's going to be 2 star a. So 2 asterisk a. Now I'm going to cut this whole thing, you know, cut Ctrl X. The mistake I made here, okay, yeah, it's just to declare my variables first, or the parameters, and then okay, so after declaring my parameters in the normal bracket, round bracket, we open our curly braces, and then we want to return, because I have two roots or two solutions, or you call them roots, so I'll call them roots here. I can call it results, but I just want to name it roots. So I'm returning roots. Okay, but before I do that, let me just do it this way. Instead of using the keyword return, let me call it var. So I'm using the keyword var to initiate a variable. So my variable here is what? Roots. Because I have more than one roots, so I'm going to use that key value pair from our JavaScript object. So I open the curly braces, so I'll call the first one roots 1 as my first key, and its value will now be pasting that, you know, formula that I said earlier on. And so we have the whole of the numerator minus b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Alright, so this is my first key value. Don't forget the key is root 1 column, the value is the entire expression here. Now the second key is root 2, and its value will be the same expression, only that this one will become a minus, because we said give it a save. So we're going to do the plus separately, and then we're going to do the minus. So it's b minus b plus or minus. So the first root will be plus, evaluated as plus, and then the second one will be this expression evaluated as minus. So okay, like that. Now the thing I've done here, I've only I'm only dealing with declaring the variable var roots. Okay, my variable name is roots. But more than this, the error is coming from this curly braces, so there should be curly braces here, and then the bracket is not sufficient enough, so the bracket here is closed here, this one is closed here, then this last one should be closed here to wrap the whole of the numerator. The same thing goes here too. Okay, alright, so having done that, I don't need this bracket here for now. Oops, okay, sorry, I need this for the JavaScript object, so we'll wrap everything. Okay, so JavaScript object having two key value pairs. The first key is root 1, this value is this, and the second key is root 2, and the value for that second key is the expression evaluated at minus. So having declared the name of our variable as roots, we want to return that name that I used to store my result. So instead of writing the answers one by one, so I've already placed all my answers inside this name, variable name roots. So it's going to return the roots as my answer, or you can call it solutions. Whatever you call it here, just put it here. Just make sure that they are the same. Alright, so next thing we're going to do outside this curly braces is to console.log. What's the name of my formula? Quadratic formula. I'm a quadratic equation solver. Then what are the parameters. So now looking at examples here, looking at this, it's like saying 1x squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. So my a, b, c are what? 1, minus 5 and minus 14. So I want to solve for 1, minus 1, minus 5 and minus 14. So minus 1, minus 5, okay, and then minus 14. Give it a save. I'll put your semicolon there. Give it a save. Let's check it again. 1, minus 5, minus 14. So this should be plus 1. Okay, give it a save. So then control enter. You can see the first result is 7. The second result is minus 2. So these are the two solutions, or the two roots. And let's check the answer here. It is 7 and minus 2. Alright, let's try this. So this one is repeated answer, so the solution will be 2 and 2. So here now we have 1b squared minus 4b plus 4, like saying 1x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 0. So it's a quadratic equation in terms of b. It can be in terms of x, it can be in terms of any variable. So our a is 1 here, b is minus 4 and 4. 1 minus 4 and 4. Give it a save. Control. You can see the two answers are 2 and 2, as I've said. So sometimes you might not get the exact answer, I know, because that's what I'm saying, there's a limitation to this for now. Might get some higher multiples, for example. Here now I might get the answer might be 10 and maybe minus 4. Like you're multiplying this result by 4. So this one will give us 10, this one will be minus 4. That's just the limitation I have with this. But you know, you can try this with several maths formula and let me know from the comment section which formula you're able to implement this approach and you know, able to work with. Okay, and if you like this video, I'd like you to give it a thumbs up to help the algorithm of this channel, and also share with your friends. Thank you very much.